Hey everybody, today's video is gonna be a little bit different. I've been wanting to make a mental health video for like a while, and it's just taken me a really long time because it's a topic not a lot of people talk about, and I feel like it needs to get talked about more, and I'm glad that more people are talking about it, but I still feel like, it still needs to be out there more. And forgive me if I stumble over my words a bunch. This is not scripted. I'm just kind of winging this. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to go off on a thing here. Yeah, so I haven't, it's been a while since I uploaded on the channel, and I took a break because I knew that I needed one because my life got super stressful. But I feel like the whole YouTube system is really stupid in the way it works because it's designed so that if you take a break, your channel suffers greatly, and I don't really think that's fair because that just incentivizes YouTubers to work themselves until they burn out, and it's so stupid that way. But yes, I'm all for taking breaks and stuff when you need it because you're gonna eventually need them. So yeah, I've wanted to make something like this for a very long time. I've been putting it off. And then I saw a video that Arlo made, and I was like, man, it's okay to talk about this stuff. It's not like you're getting judged and crap. So anyway, the topic of today's video, it's okay not to be okay. And I feel like people are very much afraid to admit that, and they just kind of push through it, just going no, I'm fine, until they eventually hit their breaking point, and then they're like, well, shit, I'm not fine. And that's why at some times in your life, you need to take a minute to just, put everything into perspective and focus on you and put everything else down that's stressing you out just for a little bit. For me, it was I had a lot of personal crap go on, and then I had school, which was very, very stressful because I'm going to college now and I'm a college student. That stuff, it is not easy. But then I had a more personal issue that affected me a lot more, and it was the reason why I took such a long break off of YouTube in general. So I had somebody in my life treating me very, very poorly. I was being abused and taken advantage of, and I think it's important that when people do that to you, that when people take advantage of you, use you, that you cut those people out, because a lot of people don't have the self-respect, I think, or I guess the level of, it's hard to put into words, the ability to acknowledge that and leave. It's a really hard thing to do, and I know because I had to do it. I had to cut my best friend out of my life because this person was treating me horribly and made me feel like shit all the time and told me that I was a piece of crap all the time, or made me feel like it. And because of that, I was forced to cut some very, very toxic people out of my life, but I loved them, and I cared about, especially one person in particular, I cared about them a lot. And even though this person treated me horribly and I had to come to terms with the fact that I was taken advantage of and I was used, I still tried to help them, because in my nature, I try to help everybody I care about, and it ends up biting me in the ass a little bit, and all it led to was me being hurt more and it being a more painful sting when I eventually had to rip myself away from all that. And then it just left me in tatters. It left me shattered, and I'm still recovering from it even now. It's been a little bit since it's happened, and I'm still trying to collect my bearings. I've been going to therapy for it, and I've been talking to a therapist, and they've been really helpful. They've been helping me understand myself more, understand what I need. I think I have my therapist was talking to me about having anxiety, and I have a lot of that now, to the point where I think I need to be medicated. We were discussing that. I'm not 100% sure, so I'm not going to delve too deep into that realm, but when you have people that do that to you, especially people that are very inconsiderate about it, it tends to really fuck you up. Because my whole thing was communication, and I think it's important to communicate with people when you feel something, when something is important to you. And for my situation, it got completely thrown in my face, and it ended up just making everything worse trying to help. And that's because when you're talking to someone that's not going to listen to you, all you're doing is wasting your time. And that was something I had to really learn the hard way, and it ended up causing me a lot of pain and grief, and oh boy. So I guess the takeaway from that is that if someone is not treating you right, if you have, trust your gut, because if you have a gut feeling that someone isn't right or something isn't right for you, and you kind of know it in the back of your mind, but you don't want to believe it, trust your gut and take a long sit back and think about it. Think about, if it would be better to cut this person out of your life. Choose your friends carefully is what I'm saying. Choose the people in your life carefully, because at the end of the day, if someone's doing you more harm than good, you don't need them, and you're probably better off without them. And doing that shit can be so painful. I know that from experience. It was not a fun thing. But yeah, it essentially left me in a spot where I had to learn how to cope, and there were a lot of things thrown on the table in that regard. Fortunately, I had the foresight enough to try positive coping mechanisms. Like, one of my big things is being really nice and positive to people. I love giving a good vibe to people. I love, omitting something that makes people happy, that makes them enjoy being, in the same room. And that's the vibe I try to give off to everybody, that they're loved and accepted and that they're important. And I always try to do that with everybody, because you never know what the other person's thinking. You don't know what's going through somebody's head unless they tell you. Because trust me, people are really good at hiding that. I would know because I hid it for a very long time myself. And so I've been coping by being really positive and uplifting, by eating really healthy and exercising, and it's been a lot of energy, but it's also been helping me be better as a person. And I was able to do this while I was suffering a great deal from a very traumatic experience. It's a very tough thing, and honestly, I think finding ways to cope with things that are not going so well in your life, that's something that's really important to figure out. And honestly, I think that as long as what you're coping with is not self-destructive or hurting other somebody decided to message me. As long as what you're coping with is not self-destructive or hurting other people, I think that it's okay. Like, go for it. Do what makes you happy. That's the important thing. And always try to find solutions to the problems rather than suppress the emotions down. It's important to let yourself feel that and try to go somewhere with it, rather than just pretend that it doesn't exist. Because I know tons of people like to pretend that their problems don't exist, and all that does is prolong the issue and bury the root of it even deeper down. And all it ends up doing is making the problem worse. So it's better, I think, to just address it. And doing that can be very hard and painful. I know that. And it also goes just in general, it really is okay to not be okay. Everybody at some point has some sort of obstacle in their life, and it ends up being, really big deal for a lot of people. And that's perfectly fine. It's just about finding a constructive way to move forward and move past it, giving yourself breaks and leeway room to the point where it can help you, and so that you don't burn yourself out. And yes, at the same time, you don't want to go too easy, because if you do, then, you kind of go in limbo for a while and forget what you'd have to do, and then you have a whole other issue you have to address. But I guess the point is, mental health is really important. Make sure you pay attention to it, make sure you address it, and make sure that you're in check, with it, because it's very easy to fall off of that horse, and once you fall off, it's really hard to get back on. That's personally what I've been dealing with, and that's why I took a break from uploading for a while. And I've been finding people, that are genuinely supportive and helpful in my life, and I open up about a lot of my problems. Now, I'm not saying, you have to open up and tell everybody your issues. For me, personally, I'm cool with it, but it's good to talk about it with somebody, because bottling it up is not something that's going to help you. And I know, because I did that for the longest time, and it was such an incredibly lonely way to live, and it's horrible. And just telling somebody is something that it can be so incredibly helpful, because then you feel like, somebody gets it, somebody can listen to you. It's like a weight off of your shoulders. I remember when I first started opening up to people, that's really what it felt like. And having a system of people to support you is such an incredibly good thing. And all of this in tandem has made me reassess my friendships with people, and it's made me realize that I really do have a great support system. And a lot of them will point out when something is not so great in my life, even if I don't want to admit it at the moment. That's honestly what I have been doing. I've been, making sure that I assess properly what I look for in somebody that I want to be close to me, that I want to share my love and, friendship, affection with. Because some people are just going to bring you down, and you have to be able to gauge. It's hard sometimes, but gauging those people out is really important. And again, if somebody ever mistreats you, if you find that you're in that situation, it's important to leave it, because settling for something that you're unhappy with is just going to make things worse in the long run, and you're creating a problem that is going to need a much more deep solution later on. And again, my problem is that I try to help people even if, I'm in that sort of position, and it ended up biting me in the ass. So I had to be careful with that. And I think this goes back to the whole, coping mechanism. Like, finding a good coping mechanism is really important. And for me, again, it was positivity, which, by the way, is a amazing thing. Omitting good vibes to people, like being positive. And I know it sounds kind of generic, but like a lot of people are really pessimistic and they just bring down the mood. And it's very easy to fall into that, because I was one of those people for a very long time, and it sometimes takes a conscious effort to not be like that. For me, it did. So I always promote being conscious of your behavior and try to omit something that will make other people happy, that will make their days better. You never know who really needs it, And part of that is not having a vindictive sort of mentality about it. For me, and I know I could say this personally, when somebody wrongs you, it is so easy to get mad at them, to swear at them, to just walk up and say, fuck you, I hate you. It's very easy. You have a temptation to want to do that because they have done something personally to fuck you up. But I think it's really important not to do those things, to take a more mature road and just walk away from it. Because at the end of the day, being mean to somebody that's done you wrong doesn't do anyone any good. They're just gonna get defensive, and it just creates a whole problem. I'd say try to communicate and articulate what you're feeling, and if they're not going to listen, walk away from it. I had to learn that one the hard way. And that means being open to really any relationship that you have that you might question a little bit. Don't chalk it up to, oh, it's just this, oh, it's just that. Like, sometimes you really got to sit down and think, is this good for me? Is this helping me? Because looking out for yourself is really important. I've been telling everybody that you can't help anybody else until you can help yourself. And that's a really important thing to live by. It's like you can't carry someone to safety if both of your legs are broken. You just can't. And the same goes for trying to help people, because like you can lead people to water, like you can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink. And so I know for me that I really try to help people, but sometimes you just can't. There are some things that you just can't do no matter how much you try, and trying to do something that's completely futile, all it does is waste your energy, and it degrades your mental state, because you feel like you're trying over and over and you're just failing, and it's really, really discouraging. So yeah, looking out for number one is very important. That's the best way to help other people, is by helping yourself. And that was why I took a break from uploading for as long as I did, because I knew that if I kept uploading, I was gonna make shit content, or I was gonna start half-assing everything in my life, and I really didn't want to do that. I also bombed a lot of my school classes, by the way, which did not do great things for my mental health. I kind of dug myself a hole with my whole, situation, caused depression and all of this horrible spiraling stuff. And so taking time to come to terms with it, and realize it's so easy to think that, you're too far gone and that there's nothing you can do and you're fucked. But no matter what, you are never too far gone. Please remember that. Because I know there were a lot of times in my life where I thought that this was the end, that this was the end all be all, and I fucked up my entire life because I did something and I made a wrong decision. But there is always a solution to it. There's a workaround. You can always find a way to move forward, and then you can keep going with your life. I've had that happen countless times, and I've had to deal with people hurting themselves, people talking about, taking their own lives, people trying to do that. I've had to deal very personally with people that tried to do that, and it took a huge toll because I thought I could help them not, and I could help them, see this and that. But people that are that and fucked up of a mental state, you really can't do anything for. And I learned that one the hard way too. And I also know personally what that's like, because again, when I feel backed into a corner, I feel like everything's closing in and there's nothing you can do about it. But there's always a workaround. There's always a way to move forward, and you're never too far gone to find that. And there's always ways to redeem yourself, because like even the person that treated me horribly, I don't hate them. I don't have it in me to hate this person. And trust me, I very easily could. It was fucked up. But taking that road is just wrong, I think. I think being hateful, being bitter, living that sort of life is just not a good one to live. I'd rather be forgiving, and I'd rather wish this person well than say, oh, well, this person's a fucking asshole, I hope they die. Like, I genuinely wish this person well. And I don't think anybody is too far gone to redeem themselves, you know? I mean, for the most part, you know, there are always exceptions. But for the most part, I really think that everyone can find a way to redeem themselves, to become a new person, to become someone that's positive and uplifting and creates a good, you know, impact on the world. And they can go about it their own way. They don't have to do it my way. God knows my way isn't perfect. But like, even if this person were to become that type of person, the good one, the one that helps people, the one that really is a good impact on the world, I really would be able to forgive them at that point, because at that point they wouldn't be the person that treated me horribly. And finding that room for forgiveness is a very difficult thing to find, but it does so much good for yourself and it gives so much peace, you know? And I think that's the way people should live their lives, you know, forgiving, uplifting, just good in general and understanding, rather than being resentful and bitter and people that hold grudges all the time. I don't know, that shit just doesn't really fly with me. I don't like that. And trust me, finding this is hard, and there's no way to be like that 100% of the time. You're gonna get upset at times. There's gonna be times where you get bitter and angry. That's natural, that's normal. But there's a difference between being bitter and angry and being a bitter and angry person. I think there's a key difference between those two, and being bitter and angry is okay at times. Being a bitter and angry person is just not. It's not a good thing. And I think finding a way to go healthily about that is very important. So anyway, point of all of this, mental health is really important. Take care of your own mental health. Take breaks. That's why I took a break. And look out for yourself. Be a good person. Be someone that makes other people happy without any cost of your own, obviously. Again, give what you have to give. Don't overgive, because at that point you're gonna run yourself into the ground. I know that one. But yeah, that's mostly what I wanted to talk about. So again, if you like these sort of serious talk down videos, I can do more of them. But I just wanted to make something, you know, chill, vibe, end of 2021, one last video, hurrah, the whole world works. And again, for everyone that's been patient with me, dude, I appreciate you all so much that are still here waiting for me after my what seems like endless wait. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. And so I'm thinking I really want to start making content again. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have like a weekly upload schedule. I'll probably upload every Saturdays. If I can't, Sunday, I think would be good. So yeah, if you're new here and would like to subscribe to yours truly, I would greatly appreciate it. And if you're not new here and know my old content, don't worry, that sort of content, that's gonna still be around, don't worry. But I also wanna say this, I'm not gonna hard lock myself into uploading every Saturday. Like I said, it's important to be easy on yourself and not to overexert it. I'm gonna upload when I want to. I'll try to keep it every Saturday as well as other videos, like even something small to just kind of put content out there, but I'm not gonna make it the end of the world if I don't. I will just try to as much as I can. So since it's not gonna be 100% consistent, that is a great reason to turn notifications on and subscribe to the channel if you would like to be notified and know when I upload. I would greatly appreciate it. And yeah, just thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking around. Like, if you've seen any of my videos, if you've sat down, if you watched through this whole thing, thank you. And if you've liked any of the Fallout New Vegas stuff or any of the other videos I've uploaded, thank you for watching those as well. And again, if you're new here, there are some great videos you can check out, and there are some great videos that will be coming. So I do hope you will stick around. I cannot thank you all enough for, you know, vibing with me, for sitting here, chill talk, even though it got a bit serious. I greatly appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. So yeah, that is it. I'm done talking. I've been talking for way too long now at this point. So I guess I will hope to see you all in the next video. Thank you very much, and bye-bye, everybody. And one last thing, Happy New Year's, everybody. I hope you all had a wonderful year, hopefully, even though it was crazy. Wonderful holiday. Let's try to make it a better 2022. Okay, for real now. Bye-bye, everybody.